The care that helps you be the best you just got stronger. Healthcare Partners is now Optum, and our doctors are advancing a simple idea that your healthcare can be more personalized, more compassionate, and more convenient. Healthcare Partners is now Optum. Healthcare made stronger. To learn more, visit Optum.com/California or click the ad. Optum and Optum Care are trademarks of Optum Incorporated.
Black Friday savings at Bloomingdale's are here. Take 25% off a large selection of regular and sale price items. Plus, take an extra 50% off a large selection of clearance items. Shop online Thursday through Saturday and in-store Friday through Sunday.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Jeffrey Epstein Show. I'm your host, Bobbycapucci, and this is a morning update. We're going to keep pulling on this Luc Brunel thread, and today we're going to talk about his ties to Steve Mnuchin. Steve Mnuchin is currently the Treasury Secretary in Donald Trump's administration, and a guy that has always run in these circles, right? He was producing movies, always had big bucks, and has always been rubbing elbows with people in so-called polite society. But isn't it strange that so many people in so-called polite society have these ties to Jeffrey Epstein and his toad-ass associates? It's all just a big coincidence, though, right? That's what they would have you believe. But in reality, folks, both sides of the aisle, all of our leaders, everybody held up on a pedestal, seems to be a scumbag. And the sooner we understand that as a populace, the sooner we stop arguing with each other about which turd smells less like shit, the better off we're all going to be. But as of now, we've fallen right into their trap. They want you to hate your neighbor, they want you to hate your cousin, they want you to hate your friends. All for what reason? So we're easier to control. That's what this is all about, folks. Do you doubt it? We're talking about the CIA here, okay? The same people who brought in Japanese scientists who were engaging in biological experiments on human beings. Look up Unit 731. Then what about all of the Nazis that they brought in to help them out? And they just expunged all their records because guess what? It's for the greater good. The means justifies the end. And we see it over and over again throughout history. These are the same people, the CIA, the intelligence agencies, the FBI, our politicians, that were okay with bringing in these war criminals from Japan and Germany. Because, the greater good and all. These are the same people that are busy protecting Jeffrey Epstein throughout the decades. So, again, they don't have a track record of being honest or honorable, the intelligence agencies. In fact, it's the complete opposite. And then you add in all of these dumbass rich billionaires that are so willing to be involved with these scumbags, and you have a recipe for disaster. And that is exactly where we are, folks. Both sides of the aisle, both groups of politicians, and everybody in between is busy gaslighting us. They're so concerned about making sure that the populace is always looking for a boogeyman so that we don't see what they're doing behind the curtain. And when you read articles like this with Steve Mnuchin, Acosta, then on the other side you have, Bill Clinton, you have Ron Burkle. It goes on and on, right? The point is, if you're sitting at the buffet of confirmation bias, especially with this case, and you think it's just one side or the other, you are doing yourself a disservice and you are doing the case a disservice. Both sides of the aisle, Democrat, Republican, and all of the intelligence services and all of their minions, they all hold responsibility for what happened in this Jeffrey Epstein case. Remember, folks, 4 different presidencies this has happened under, 4 administrations, and still no arrests. Well, today is Steve Mnuchin's turn to have the spotlight put on him and for the questions to be asked. Why were you involved in a relationship, business or otherwise, with Jean-Luc Brunel? Today's article is from the Daily Beast, and the author is Emily Sugarman. And again, the Daily Beast has done great work here, folks. Emily Sugarman has done fantastic work. Kate Bricolet has done incredible work. She's a very good journalist. And, the list goes on over here at the Daily Beast. And for me, I might not agree with their politics in some regard in some articles, but I don't care about any of that. All I care about is that they're being truthful when it comes to this story, that they're doing their due diligence when it comes to this story, and that they're holding people to account. Because, you see, that's what journalists are supposed to do. They're supposed to hold people in power to account, not cover for them. Headline: Steve Mnuchin's mysterious link to creepy Epstein model scout. Author Emily Sugarman. In the late 1980s, before he was a member of Donald Trump's cabinet or even a high-rolling hedge fund manager, Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin served in an official capacity for a business run by one of Jeffrey Epstein's most infamous associates. How has Mnuchin not had to answer for this? I mean, this is a serious situation. He has to answer for his relationship with Jean-Luc Brunel. In official records, Mnuchin is listed as the official state point of contact for Next Management Corporation, a company formed in 1988 by modeling industry insiders Jean-Luc Brunel and Arnaud Brunel. At the time, Jean-Luc Brunel had just been the subject of a 60 Minutes documentary accusing him of drugging and raping at least 3 models. Later, he would be accused by 2 women of supplying girls to Epstein to be sexually abused. Brunel has denied the allegations. So not only was Mnuchin involved with this scumbag clown, it was right around the same time that the allegations were first breaking that Jean-Luc Brunel was drugging and raping girls. And yet Steve Mnuchin thinks it's a good idea to engage in business with this man. He thinks it's a good idea to be involved as a front for this company or as a point of contact for the Next Management Corporation. Really? Records accessed by the Daily Beast list Mnuchin as the New York Department of State process for Next Management Corporation. According to department officials, the DOS process is the person who files a company's registration papers and receives lawsuits and other official documents on their behalf, usually a lawyer or some other legal representative. So, Mnuchin was in charge of receiving any sort of lawsuit or document on the behalf of Jean-Luc Brunel's company Next, and this isn't a bigger story? More people aren't talking about this? Look, people like Steve Mnuchin and the rest of these billionaires, I don't want them in the presidential cabinets. I don't want them in public office. You mean to tell me there's nobody better to be in the Treasury Department secretary than this man? We have no better people to do this job in a country of 360 million people. I'm sorry, but I don't buy that. And furthermore, I'm pretty sick and tired of all of these billionaires sliding into these presidential cabinet positions with no sort of experience at statesmanship. A Treasury Department official said Mnuchin did not know he was listed as the DOS process for Next Management Corporation before the Daily Beast inquiry. He said it was not clear how Mnuchin wound up serving in that role, and added that the secretary did not recall ever meeting either Brunel brother and had never done business with either of them. Oh yeah, your name just magically appeared on the document. It just showed up one day on the document. You know what? Your Crossman pen, got up and walked from your desk and went and signed the paperwork. Is that what you would have us believe there, Mr. Mnuchin? How aren't more people digging into this? How come these aren't questions that are being asked at a huge rate and a fast clip? Mnuchin's office did confirm that he was longtime friends with Faith Cates, the owner of the Next modeling agency. Well, how about that? Does it shock you that he's great friends with Faith Cates, another one of Jeffrey Epstein's confidants, another person that procured girls for Jeffrey Epstein? Did the Trump transition team even bother to do their job? Or were they just like, all right, whoever wants a job, come on down. You guys want a job? Come on down. That's basically what it looks like. Did they call like a service, an employment service to get these cabinet positions filled? This is the best we got, huh? Steve Mnuchin is the best we have, the best America has to offer for this position. If that's the case, folks, then forget it. We're done as a civilization. We might as well pack it in now and call it a day. The Brunel brothers co-founded the Next agency with Cates in 1989, and their company, Next Management Corporation, owned a 25% stake in the agency for several years. The address listed under Mnuchin's name as the State Department records is the first address for Cates' company, Next Management Company. So, again, he can say he doesn't know Brunel or his brother. He can act like he has no idea or anything about any of this. But the reality is, we know the truth. The evidence is right here. Your name just doesn't appear on a document like this, Steve Mnuchin. Reached by the Daily Beast, Cates denied any involvement with setting up Next Management Corporation and said she had nothing to do with Mnuchin serving as the DOS process. Nobody knows anything. They can't hear nothing, they saw nothing, they know nothing. How dare you for even asking? Don't you know that I'm Faith Cates? Given that, she never designated anyone, including Secretary Mnuchin, to be DOS process or any officer or director of Next Management Corp. Again, I guess his name was just picked out of a hat. They were like, you know what, let's go through the yellow pages, we'll write down some names, and let's just yank one of them out of a hat. Really? You think that's what occurred? Or do you think that Mr. Mnuchin is not being honest with us? The spokesperson added that Cates' agency sued Next Management Corporation 25 years ago over allegations that the Brunel brothers had raided the agency, and said Cates had not had any contact with them since then. She said Cates had no knowledge of why her company's address was listed in official records for Next Management Corporation. I mean, really? You don't know why your company's listed, huh? Well, maybe it's the fact that, Jeffrey Epstein and your boy there, Luc Brunel, were ponying up dough to you. Maybe it's the fact that they were closer to you than you would like to admit. And maybe it's the fact that what you're trying to do now is nothing but damage control. You ever think about that, Miss Cates? Cates has her own connections to Epstein, as the Daily Beast previously reported. Former employees say the financier, pedophile, regularly dropped in on the agency's New York offices, and tax filings show he donated tens of thousands of dollars to charities connected to Cates and her family. At least 2 former Next models have been romantically linked to Epstein, and a third appears in his infamous address book. A spokesperson for Cates said neither she nor the Next agency had any business or financial ties to Epstein, and that Cates never introduced the financier, pedophile, to any models. That is such a lie. That is such a lie. We read earlier that the employees said something completely different, that there'd always be a girl waiting for him there, that Brunel would send girls there to wait for Epstein, therefore acting as a hub for human trafficking. And this is what Steve Mnuchin's name's on? This is what Steve Mnuchin was involved in? We got to do better, America. Come on, we have to do better. And when I say we have to do better, believe me, I don't mean Joe Biden either, okay? We have to do better, selecting our candidates, selecting the people that are going to govern us. Mnuchin has been friends with Cates for approximately 30 years, according to the Treasury Department official, and once helped Cates set up a business, as a friend. Boy, that's nice. I wish I had some friends that would come over and help me set up some businesses without expecting anything. I'm sure that Mr. Mnuchin didn't expect anything from Cates if he was setting up the business for her. He's just a friend. A spokesperson for Cates confirmed the two had been friendly for decades. She said Mnuchin had offered Cates business advice when she started Next Management Company and served as her real estate broker. Man, Mnuchin is a man of many talents. Real estate broker, treasury secretary, hedge fund manager, guy that signs for Luc Brunel. I guess he could add that to his resume as well. Mnuchin spokesperson said the secretary had no ownership in any of Kate's businesses or served them in any business capacity. The records say differently. And if it's not the case, then who is committing fraud by putting their name down there, sir? The Daily Beast was unable to reach Jean-Luc or Arnaud Brunel for comment. The ties between Jean-Luc Brunel and Epstein, however, have been widely reported. Flight records show Brunel flew on the pedophile's private plane more than 20 times between 1999 and 2005, and House staff said in depositions that the modeling agent was a regular presence at Epstein's Palm Beach estate. So, just for context for a second, Brunel flew on the plane 20 times between 1999 and 2005. Good old Bill, my gumad is Ghislaine Maxwell. He flew on the plane at least 26 times according to reports. So again, if you think this is just one side of the aisle, if you think it's just the Republicans, or you think it's just the Democrats, well, you're wrong. When Epstein was arrested in 2008, Brunel visited him nearly 70 times in jail. I don't even think I've had my friends come and visit me at my house 70 times, never mind in jail. One of Epstein's first public accusers, Virginia Roberts, claimed Epstein forced her to sleep with Brunel and many other powerful men in the years he kept her as his prisoner. She also accused Brunel of using his modeling industry connections to supply Epstein and other wealthy men with foreign girls to abuse. And we know for a fact that this was occurring. Not only the very credible statements of Virginia, but we have all of the other corroborating evidence here, the employees, etc., etc. I mean, the cops from Reno 911 could prosecute this case. A former bookkeeper for one of Brunel's agencies told the FBI in 2010 that Brunel used the company to bring in teenage models from around the world and house them in Epstein's Upper East Side apartments. The bookkeeper claimed the girls were loaned out to wealthy clients for as much as $100,000 a night and were not paid if they refused to be molested. We talked about that earlier, and it just defies reason that these disgusting ass so-called members of polite society are willing to pay $100,000 a night to abuse these girls. What in the F is wrong with these people? I mean, are they all inbred and suffering from some sort of mental deficiency? French authorities are currently seeking Brunel as part of their probe into Epstein, and recently interviewed two women who say they were victims of the modeling agent in the late 70s and early 80s, according to French newspaper La Parisson. Brunel has denied all claims of sexual misconduct as well as any knowledge of Epstein's wrongdoings. In legal filings, he said the former bookkeeper had been fired from his agency for embezzling company funds. Yeah, it's always the same story, right? Oh, this one's lying, that one's lying. I'm the only one telling the truth. Meanwhile, you're the biggest scumbag in the room, Mr. Brunel, and I wouldn't believe you if you told me the sun was going to rise tomorrow. I strongly deny having participated neither directly nor indirectly in the actions Mr. Jeffrey Epstein is being accused of, Brunel said in 2015 statement. I strongly deny having committed any illicit or any wrongdoing in the course of my work as a scouter or a model agency's manager. Yes, okay, sure. Right. Just like Baghdad Bob said that the American troops weren't in Baghdad, right, during the Iraq invasion. That's basically what you look like, Mr. Brunel. Oh yeah, nothing to see here. Meanwhile, there's evidence that's mounted up, piled high, all around you, so high that you'll suffocate in it if you walked into a room. And you mean to tell us that you had nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein, huh? You, of all people, had nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. Well, sir, the evidence and many, many different girls and witnesses, they all say you're a liar. And guess what? I believe them. If you'd like to contact me, you can do that at bobbycapucci@protonmail.com. That's BOBBY_CAPUCCI@protonmail.com. You can also find me on Twitter at BOBBY_CAPUCCI. If you'd like to help out the podcast, you can find the GoFundMe link in the description box along with the link to this article. All right, folks, I'll be back later on tonight, and I will be joined by Jen M., a.k.a. Trampella, as the co-host of the show tonight. All right, everybody, until then, have a fantastic day.
The care that helps you be the best you just got stronger. Healthcare Partners is now Optum, and our doctors are advancing a simple idea that your healthcare can be more personalized, more compassionate, and more convenient. Healthcare Partners is now Optum. Healthcare made stronger. To learn more, visit Optum.com/California or click the ad. Optum and Optum Care are trademarks of Optum Incorporated. The care that helps you be the best you just got stronger. Healthcare Partners is now Optum, and our doctors are advancing a simple idea that your healthcare can be more personalized, more compassionate, and more convenient. Healthcare Partners is now Optum. Healthcare made stronger. To learn more, visit Optum.com/California or click the ad. Optum and Optum Care are trademarks of Optum Incorporated.